If you've been following the channel for a while, you already know that ambient lighting is something I'm pretty passionate about. I started experimenting with ambient lighting shortly after building this sim rig. And in time, it's gone from just being a few LED strips to the lighting system you see above me now. And I've found that, like, for me, especially filming POV videos like the ones you'll see in this video and the ones I've posted previously, it just makes it more immersive to have this much lighting. For somebody who's not filming videos, you don't necessarily need to go quite as overboard as I do, but I want my ambient lighting to also be something that provides enough lighting for the camera. And that's where I get this combination of Adalight system and Govee lights to not only add to the immersion, but also to provide good camera lighting. Now, this isn't just a system that I use in the sim rig. I also like to have ambient lighting when I'm playing games on the desktop setup. Over here on the desktop setup, I have kind of something similar to what I use on the sim rig because I do use the same Govee light bars behind this monitor and the one on the left. And that's where you'll see the white light up above. But I've added in a Govee light strip in the cable management channel of the desk. And then I've also got, obviously, the big light bar right here. All of this is programmed into the Govee app to work just like how the sim rig does, but instead the Govee app is what's taking shots from the screen. So as you can see, as I bring this white screen up, it pretty much follows wherever I want it to follow. This isn't something I use a ton while playing games because what you'll see is, like, it's immersive. It adds some immersion, there's no doubt about it, but it's not as much as what you would expect or what you get with sim racing. Like, the lighting's not necessarily expected to be there. You're paying attention to the monitor. It's a game. It is what it is. In a car, you notice that disconnect without the lighting, and it's something where if I turn it off on the sim rig, I absolutely notice it. Let me explain to you guys how the ambient lighting setup works. I'm going to start with the Govee desktop app because this is the one that you can just do like base gaming and stuff with. And it's also something you have to set up before you can even set up Simhub. If you're just playing on a desktop and you're only using Govee lights and you don't need to add a light, you're not doing sim racing where the screen grab where the lighting goes is like ultra essential, then you can literally just use the desktop app. Now, there's a few things you have to know first off, and the biggest one is you're going to need lighting, Govee lighting, that is either Dreamview or Chroma or a combination of both enabled, and any other lights won't work. So you'll notice here on my screen, all of my devices are already loaded in. So I've got a ceiling light. This does not work. I was super excited to get the ceiling light, and I was hoping I would be able to enable this to work with the rest of my sim rig or the desktop setup. It's not Dreamview or Chroma enabled. I would really love for Govee to make a room light, like an actual ceiling mounted light that would work for this. This would be awesome. Now, if I go over to group control list, I've created a group of just the desk light. I've got the light strip down in the desk channel here. We got the two light bars in the side light bar, all in this desktop 2 group. So I can control that solely from my app, obviously, but that's also set to be the screen grab. So if we turn this off, you'll see the lights come back to their normal setting. And with it on, it takes screen grabs from the PC, just like I was just explaining. So you'll notice it got a lot dimmer because most of the screen's grayed out. I come in here and grab, I don't know, we'll say paint. Then you'll notice, like I was showing you before, that it functions with it. So very simple setup. All you have to do is go in and turn on the screen grab option, set the devices you want. And that's basically all it takes to make this work. All right, so assuming you guys have set up the Govee desktop app already, then you're going to go into Simhub. Now, I recommend getting the licensed version of Simhub because it's more responsive and I feel like it just works better for this. And you should have an add a light or an ambient light button over here on the left. If you don't, go down to add remove features and turn on the ambient light option. Once that's on, you'll see you have 4 tabs here. the Philips Hue, Bluetooth, Govee light, and then you have the add a light tab, the controls, and the capture. Now over here on the right, you'll see that I have 3 options for lights. This is the ceiling light that doesn't work. I was really disappointed with this. I was kind of bummed about it, like I said, but we've gone ahead and turned that off because it doesn't work. And that leaves us with the 4 light bars, because each one each contact point runs 2 light bars. So I only have 2 contacts. Now, to set this up is pretty simple. The cool thing about using the Govee lights as opposed to the Adalight is you can be very detailed in placement. So as you can see, I've got a nice grid across the screen here. Each one of those represents a point that I can use to grab light from the screen and put it into the light. In this case, I have used just this little section of the dash as a grab point for the Govee lights. And the reason I did that is because if you have, these things spread out all over the place, then you're going to get a lot of inconsistent lighting. It's going to flicker a lot and all that. In this case, all of the lighting is coming from this little section. These are the ceiling light. I was trying to test it, so ignore those. All grab points are right here in the middle. Now, that just makes it consistent when you're going through shadows and stuff to make sure it flickers. With Adalight, you don't necessarily get the same options. You get, as you can see, kind of like a pattern under this button. It goes down in like a U shape, or if I make this bigger, you can see the U shape a little better. Each of these represents an LED. This is multiplied by 3, so there's actually about 700 LEDs in my custom light boxes, and all of them grab in like this shape just above the steering wheel. As you might be able to see if I move this over. No, you can't. Maybe a little bit. But basically the grab point is just above the steering wheel for the Adalights, and it grabs basically from the road. So it's not going to be as detailed and they don't cut out as much, but I kind of wanted that because I always want there to be enough lighting for the GoPro to be able to pick up some light in the cabin. Now, in scene settings, depending on whether you're using Adalight or Govee, you're going to have different things you're trying to achieve. So for me, overall luminosity, I have set at 15. For light scene settings, this is kind of like the automatic luminosity. Light, and I tend to run the light setting because I don't really race at night, but in the event that you do dark races, a lot of this has to be tweaked. Luminosity correction for a light scene, I have it almost all the way up because, like I said, I want that constant lighting for the GoPro. And then in gamma color correct, if I turn this down, you'll notice the lights actually get a lot brighter. And this is something where, like, if I ran them this high, it would drown out the Govee lights, so I keep them kind of consistent. I probably could go down a little bit, like right there. Now, Govee lighting for scene settings is a little bit different. I have no gamma correct in that at all because I need them to be as bright as possible to overpower the custom light boxes. Aside from that, there's not, again, I don't run any dark mode or anything like that, and brightness turned all the way up. So it's very, like, those are basically like the base settings that you would need. Depending on your rig, where your lighting is and all those things, this is going to change a little bit, but that's the way I've set this up. And the cool thing with Simhub is it's able to combine the Adalight and the Govee and make it all work together to create one scene. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a long time because I know a lot of you are interested in adding ambient lighting to your sim rig. And I thought it was important either to break down the difference between the Adalight system and the Govee system and kind of give some context behind how these two different systems can work with screen grabs and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Now, a couple weeks ago, I posted a video sharing that I was going to do a giveaway with some merch. I also have this Secret Labs Ethernet extension. And as of making this video, almost nobody's entered. So competition to win is very low. I'm going to link that into this video so you guys can go check it out. And next week, my goal is to get into Simhub more. I really want to do a video on all the different levels. I think it's probably one of the greatest pieces of software we have as sim racers to build an ambient sim rig and have all these different functions around it. And I just want to go into all the details that this software can offer. But with that said, I've got some pending hardware reviews and stuff that may come up in the in-between, as much as I want to stick to a timeline. That could change. You guys will just have to follow the channel and see where that goes. So I'll see you guys next week.